Well, after over 2 years of playing football the same way, a successful way, a goal-scoring, promotion-winning, attacking way, we've finally adjusted. Not just the formation, the entire system has changed, and we're playing good football for the first time in the history of the football club. Hello and welcome to part 19 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games in the league for you. We're at home against Sheffield and away against Workington. Since you were last with me, we had a couple of teething problems with the new system. In fact, let me show you the new system first. We've gone to a 4-3-3 using a control possession tactical style. It's not quite what we're using with Fulham in non-league to legend, but it's certainly built from the same preset tactical style as that, just with a very different selection of individual player instructions to fit the players that we've got. It did have a little bit of teething problems. For a start, we lost our first game of the season, the first time we tried to do it, but we looked to be playing better than we had been. Because remember, the reason we made the change, although we were unbeaten, we were drawing so many games and we were finding it very difficult to find the back of the net. Since then, we've slowly worked our way into being able to play it, and we're unbeaten again. We're on another unbeaten run, and Connor Stanley is our new winger, and he's a superstar. I don't know if I've shown you Connor Stanley yet, but he's 18 years old, 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. One of the driving forces behind deciding to change the tactic up the way we have. Came in on a free from Manchester United. 5 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists, 1 man of the match, a 7.78. We have a proper outstanding winger in the shape of Connor Stanley, who's making this system look good. But we are just generally playing some pretty good football with it now. Workington, the team we play in the second half of today's episode, is the one team that we struggled past a little bit playing this system. Otherwise, we have a long run of games, a long run of victories where we weren't even conceding goals. We were just playing very, very good football. And hopefully that's going to continue for you today. This is the team that we're putting out there against Sheffield. Remember, Sheffield are the other team who came up with us last season. So if there was ever going to be a team that we could probably play some better football against, or our last season's football against, then it would be this team. I feel like my shape has shuffled round again, but it hasn't. They are all in the right order, aren't they? The filters and stuff on the shape here breaks my mind. It only happens in this save as well. But we're not going to go back to last year's system just because it's one of last year's teams. I want to show you us playing our little short passing, work ball into the box, play out of defence, low tempo system that looks beautiful. So we've got Collins in goal, a back four of Critchlow, Noble, Thacker, Parry and Davis, with Shane Phillips, now the all-time record appearance holder. I think he was on the verge of breaking the record in the last episode. But there you go. He is now all-time record appearance holder. Mick Powell is about 10 goals short of Anthony Harris's all-time top goal scorer record as well. So fingers crossed Mick Powell hits that before he leaves, because there's clubs after him. We'll get money for him at least, but don't expect him to be here forever. See, even then, it's changed the order, and I don't know why. People said turn off the filters, but there aren't any filters on. Just stop being stupid. Stupid game. Let's try and adjust that as well. It's so stupid, it's made me go blurry. Right, I've fixed my blurriness. I don't know if I've fixed this. No, I haven't fixed this. I don't understand. I just don't know what I have to do to stop it doing what it's doing. It's so annoying. And it's gone back now. It is breaking my mind. I'm just going to look over here. They don't move them around over here. Where did I get to? Collins in goal. Critchlow, Noble, Thacker, Parry and Davis at the back. Phillips, Bet the Benson Phillips midfield. And Buckley, with Powell up front, Cottrell and Stanley as our wingers. Cottrell, remember, is one of the lads who came in the summer. We had been playing him as an attacking midfielder. Since he's gone out onto the left wing, he's been putting in some decent performances for us as well. So we have a couple of very good wingers, a very good striker. We were never able to find a good attacking midfielder or a good second striker. So it makes sense to do this system, and it is working at the moment. So fingers crossed it'll work again today, and we can show how fancy we're capable of being when we want to be. So let's assertively say I do expect us to win this match, because it's Sheffield. and we were much better than Sheffield last year. We should be better than Sheffield this year as well. Where are they? They're down just above the relegation zone. We're up where we're supposed to be, pushing for a promotion position. Gainsborough are running away with the league a little bit at the moment. We're 7 points behind Gainsborough. We do have a game in hand, so it's not insurmountable. And Josh Thacker's just put us 1-0 up with a lovely... I mean, that was a lovely corner, a lovely header. If you watch Thacker's run here, he's run from quite deep and no one's picking him up. So the corner floats across and Thacker comes in from probably off the edge of the area. This is the guy who's supposed to be attacking that far post. I guess that's Mick Powell with a number 9 on his back. But Thacker just charges past him and heads into an open goal. It was a beautiful little corner. And now hopefully we can just grab a hold of this game by the scruff of the neck and be a bit fancy. There's Stanley playing it into Buckley. Buckley over the top to Mick Powell. Mick Powell straight at the goalkeeper. But we do get another corner. And we are pretty good at corners now. So Buckley to take again. This time plays a low one. What's he doing? I say we're good at corners. He tries to be fancy. We don't need to be fancy. Just stick it to the far post again. I don't think I've set up corner instructions on this new tactic, which might be a bit of a problem, although we did just do a really nice corner. So perhaps I don't need corner instructions anymore. Buckley plays it forward to Cottrell. What a through ball. Cottrell to Powell. Powell scores. Slight suspicion of offside, but the linesman's not interested in it at all. Mick Powell grabs his 13th goal of the season, and that was a good example of how this wing play system works. Buckley just slots that through brilliantly to Cottrell. Cottrell's already the right side of his fullback, and it's just a beautiful cross. Powell nods home. That guy was playing him onside all the way, and it's 2-0 to home, 23 minutes on the clock, and we're playing some good football. We're controlling the possession-ish. 52%, I guess that's control. It's more than half. And Collins holds on to the free kick very comfortably there. Look, we've got our centre-backs drifting out wide to take possession of the ball. Shane Phillips dropping a little bit deeper. We're playing like a proper football team. Cottrell now on this left-hand side again. Another beautiful cross, and there's Connor Stanley. That's his 6th goal of the season already. 3-0 on 33 minutes. I told you this system was good. It's actually... I realised that when we built the Diamond, we had a team of absolute nobodies. We had a couple of good young players and a load of absolute trash that was constantly rotating. So we had to do quite a workman-like system that really got the best out of our attackers. Whereas now, the quality of player we're bringing in, the likes of Stanley and Cottrell and Benson and Buckley, and we've got the best players in the division. Mick Powell is in and it's straight at the goalkeeper. It's not a case of Powell is our only good player. Stanley's almost as good as Powell is, and we signed him. So we've got a lot of very good players. Let's play like a team that's got the best players in the division and try and play the best football in the division. And that's what we're doing, and it's working, and it's awesome. They've got a Chapman. They've got Rich de Groot still. Oh, he stayed there a while. He's played 10 games for us. He's been with Sheffield for 3 years. Very sad. Right. Team talk. Passionate. Very happy. Just keep doing what you're doing. That was a lot of fun for a first half. And if we can keep this run going, win our game in hand as well. We're only 2 points behind Gainsborough and in another title race, which is what the media expected from us. I don't really know why. The reputation of the club isn't that great. When we set the team up, the reputation was sort of mid-table tier 8 reputation. I didn't set us up as a Conference South team playing 2 tiers below. I wonder if the FA Cup run last year had a huge effect on the club reputation. It makes me kind of wish I'd left the editor on, not so I could go and edit stuff, but so I could actually go in and have a look and find out what the number for the reputation is. Because yes, we won the league, but surely that would just make us have a reputation of a team for the bottom half of the league above. But it hasn't. I guess reputation is what they do media predictions on, and we came straight up as the highest reputation in the league, presumably. So that must be the cup run. It must have had a huge impact on our reputation last season. Oh, that was a bit of an iffy back pass. But Cottrell now got space to run into with players rushing past him. And there's Stanley, and Stanley scores again. Connor Stanley, what a signing that man is. He is superb. And he's another one like Mick Powell, who's here on a permanent contract. None of this pay-as-you-play nonsense. if someone wants to sign Connor Stanley, they have to give us money for him. And I've got no interest in selling him because he is an absolute superstar. I think we've only got him on contract till the end of this season, so we might want to tie him down a little bit longer now. I'm usually very reluctant to do longer term contracts at this level, but we've got Mick Powell on the longest one he'd sign. I think in the circumstances, with Stanley as good as he clearly is, I think there's a very strong argument that we give Stanley a longer contract. I'm faffing around with this midfield. This is what I'm actually trying to do. I don't want you both to be on an attacking instruction. That seems a little silly for this stage of the game. There we go. Just keep controlling the ball. That's what we want to do. Who else have we got on the bench? Wright has been very good coming on as an inside forward. So I've not written off Jake Wright. Cameron Archer's probably the one who's missing out most from this change of system because he's never getting the opportunity to get anywhere near the team. But we'll bring Jake Wright on up front. We don't do it very often, but Mick Powell, of all the attacking players, has got the lowest rating, so seems like a good enough reason to me to take him off. And Jake Wright has been playing very well coming in off the left-hand side when he comes on for, what's his face? I can't remember the name. Cottrell, the guy who's out there. So let's give him an opportunity to play in his actual position. And he's putting pressure on De Groot there. And De Groot just about gets away with it. But there's Buckley now playing as a deep line playmaker in midfield. Plays back to Davis. Davis forward to Wright, who De Groot's on him again. Rich De Groot is a right back, but seems to be marking our centre forward. Blimey, that pass had some welly behind it. And Parry has just given the ball away, and it's 4-2, and it's another piece of sloppy defending, which we are a little bit guilty of at times. I mean, that was absolutely insane. The pass out from Collins, there's nothing wrong with that, but Parry just does not get that under control. And that's the one issue with us trying to play this possession-based system in Tier 7. Sometimes it goes wrong. Obviously, Critchlow Noble, if we're playing a more direct system, doesn't play the ball back to the keeper there. He just looks for a forward pass. And if it does make it back to the keeper there, Collins kicks it forward rather than trying to play it into the feet of Parry. So that was one we kind of brought on ourselves. But then when we go and attack the way we've been attacking in this game, it kind of makes up for it. I'd rather be winning games 4-2 than 2-0. And as you saw from the schedule at the start of the video, we haven't actually conceded a lot of goals playing this system. Stanley's in again. It looked like he'd hurt himself there, but maybe he hasn't. Is he getting sent off for this? What? I don't understand why he just got sent off. But Connor Stanley's just been sent off. And we're not going to bother fiddling with anything because the game's over anyway. They don't even get to take the free kick. That was mad. It looked like he kind of collided with him and hurt his own foot. Came up holding his foot. And got a red card for it. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde. We were much better in the first half than we were in the second. That was a weird red card at the end. And I hope that's not going to be one that keeps him out for a while because he has been the key player that's made this 4-3-3 work for us. I assume it's just going to be a one-match suspension and hopefully not an injury to go with it. Just the one change for the Workington game then, and it is obviously Connor Stanley suspended. So Jake Wright's going to come in and play on the right-hand side of midfield. Like I say, I feel a little bit mean that he's not played as many games as he probably deserves to have played. Although, looking at the ratings thing on there, he's the only player the only outfield player starting today who's not over a 7 on his average rating. So perhaps he's not that hard done by, because if we compare him with the rest of the squad, he's roughly equivalent to everybody else. If you like Stanley as well, that gives our entire 10 outfield players who are our first choice starters are all above a 7. Everyone else in the squad below a 7. So I guess he's not that hard done by, but we don't really have a proper backup right attacking midfielder anyway. We've got Jack Henchcliffe at the club, who we signed last season and never really used, but he's more of a right midfielder rather than a right winger. Well, give Wright the opportunity to play out there. I do fully expect you to go out and win the match, even though we really struggled to find a way past Workington in, I assume it was the FA Trophy, because I think we were knocked out of everything else. It took us 2 legs and extra time to get past them in that competition. That is a beautiful ball from Shane Phillips, and Mick Powell does a Mick Powell. 20 seconds on the clock and it's 1-0. But this pass from Shane Phillips, who is Dean Morris and why did we ever think we needed him? Because Phillips, playing as a defensive midfielder, what a perfect pass. and Powell does brilliantly. We are not missing Dean Morris at all, because Shane Phillips, as we said way back in like episode 1, episode 2, when I forced them both into the team, both playing as holding midfielders, I couldn't really pick between them at that point. It was kind of a coin flip for Dean Morris to be the one who ended up starting 60 games in a row, while Phillips was his backup. But Phillips was always almost as good as him, and if Dean Morris is now an SPL player, Shane Phillips can't be that far behind, and that was a beauty of a pass. And of course, Mick Powell tucks it away comfortably. And then we've not done anything for 40 minutes. The rain's coming down heavily now. Goodness me. I don't know how that plays into our new fancy short passing game in pouring rain away at Workington. I don't know how easy it's going to be to knock the ball around in a short passing control possession system. But I'm a little bit worried. We might just have to... the players we've got on the pitch, we could switch back to the diamond if it looks like we've got problems, because Cottrell can play as the attacking midfielder, Wright can obviously go up front, and we can just switch back to the old faithful if it looks like we are struggling to control possession. But at the moment, we're not. We're doing absolutely fine, and if we can grab another goal here, I'll stop panicking. And Benson cleared. I was going to say off the line. It wasn't really off the line, but it was cleared. And now Parry to Phillips. We want to give it to someone who's going to create something from here. Benson to Parry. And Parry needs to get out of the way. Wright's got hold of it now. And there's Phillips lurking on the edge of the area. Out to Benson. We're keeping good possession of the ball here. But we really struggled to give it to someone who was going to have that impact with it. I know Phillips did a great pass for the assist for the goal. But I don't know if he was necessarily the man we wanted it to keep going back to there. But let's stay assertive. Guard against complacency. Go out there and play well in the second half as well, because if we do, as it stands right now, we're level on points at the top of the league with Gainsborough and Buxton, and that is quite a nice situation to be in 16 games into a season in a new league that we've never played in before. Benson now, what's he going to do? Finds Buckley to Critchlow Noble. We're just knocking it around again. We're camped out in that third of the pitch, just knocking the ball around. Although Critchlow Noble's been forced all the way back into our half. Thacker across to Parry. Parry worries me a little bit, but Buckley has got hold of it again and decides to try and beat a man. And we just need someone to do something a little bit more positive, and that is a pass and a half. And Cottrell probably should have done a little bit better with that. And too right, you applaud the pass, because it was an absolute beauty. And Cottrell either needs to pull that back for Mick Powell, who's lurking, or at least get a shot away. Just kind of running it into the post the way he did wasn't really ideal. And now Workington have got a free kick. But just keep pressing them the way we are. We're putting them under pressure, and it goes all the way back to their goalkeeper. That was from their attacking free kick. It's gone all the way back there, although they have got the potential to build again from that point. But it finds Mick Powell. Powell now out to Wright, who just manages to keep it in and then plays a beautiful pass for Mick Powell, who forces a good save out of the Workington keeper, and we've got another corner. And it should be Buckley to take. It is Buckley to take. Buckley floats it over towards... there was a whole bunch of players hovering around in the middle there. Weirdly, Jake Wright not amongst them, because he was hovering back where Stanley would normally be. And the highlight ends. That was a weird, long highlight that didn't really achieve anything. Let's make some changes. We've probably got some tired legs now. We've played 3 games in a week at this point, and Manny Parry is tired. So we're going to take him off, and I don't know who to bring on. I don't know who's any good. Hayden Carter, are you a proper defender? You are, but you're only 2.5 star. Kwame Osigui, what are you? You're also a defender. You're also 2.5 star. It doesn't seem to make any difference then. Who's the quickest? Let's do it based on pace. You are. Hayden Carter, you're coming. In fact, there you go. It's recommending Hayden Carter anyway as the one who comes on. So Carter can come on for Parry, and Benson is not having a particularly good game. Neither is Cottrell. Let's take off Benson. Bring on... I don't want to bring on Evans. I want to bring on Ethan Burnett, who's a bit more attack-minded in that midfield. So he can go attacking. Buckley can drop back to being the deep line playmaker, which we've done a few times now. And Burnett might just have a little bit more direct running coming out of that midfield, which I know we're playing a possession system. That's not necessarily what we're looking for, but I just want to get him up into these areas a little bit, just to offer us something a little bit different, because we've not been that threatening. Attacking Cottrell Cottrell's not playing great. I'm going to bring Ruddock on for him and then swap those two over, because Jake Wright has been pretty effective playing as an inside forward on that side when we've brought him off the bench. And Ruddock is another player that we brought in fairly recently as an option on the right wing, and then he kind of fell down the pecking order when Stanley arrived as well. But I think this is Ruddock's debut. I probably should have showed you him. That's what I normally do. You'll have to look for him on the Twitter if you really want to see what his attributes are. In fact, I'm not that cruel. You should follow the Twitter anyway, but that's Tyrese Ruddock. So he's a winger who can also play up front. And hopefully we're going to hold on, and we're not, because Thacker's now injured. Well, Phillips has to drop back then. Let's just drop everybody back. Apparently I can't drop him back. We'll do that. And hope we just hold on for the last minute or so. I hope that's not a proper injury to Thacker, because Thacker's been a great centre-back for us this season alongside Parry. The two of them have been very good together. That was a good win. Well played, gentlemen, and let's just see what's happened to Thacker, because it worries me a little bit. I did try and offer Connor Stanley a new contract straight after he got sent off. He doesn't want to discuss terms yet because he's only just signed that one, but it says that might change in the future, so we need to keep an eye on him and get him tied down for next season. So Josh Thacker has a calf strain and he's going to be out for a while. That's a bit of a problem, but hopefully one that we can find a way to work around. Right, when are we going to play our next game? Gainsborough would have been an interesting one because that would have been top of the league clash, but I don't want to squash the games together that much. We'll probably do something around about here, play another 6 or 7 league games, and then come back for one of these. And that will be, when is the next episode? Next episode is New Year's Day. We'll do that on New Year's Day. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.